Welcome back to the Culture Curriculum Chat podcast, where we explore culture, identity, and education through meaningful conversations. Today's guest is Johnzelle Anderson, a licensed therapist, storyteller, and author of Mixtape, a memoir. His work dives deep, I love it, dives deep into mental health, race, relationships, and identity. And I'm so honored to have him here today. Johnzelle, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Can you take us back to your early life and what shaped your identity?
Early life and the shaping of my identity. Well, I am the product of a white woman from Michigan and a Sierra Leonean man, immigrant. And imagine being raised in whiteness in the early 90s in Southwest Virginia. And the identity often was decided for me when, the world sees a Black child being raised by a white woman uh, in the absence of the African father. So, identity, part of the book title, Mixtape, it has the word mixed in it. So they called me mixed. And the politics of like, well, you're not black enough, but you're not white, and those sorts of things. But then identity of being what some would say is the child of a single parent, or the absentee father thing, or um, you know, the intersections of like poverty and as time goes on, identity was also shaped by abuse and neglect. And, um, you know, uh, a lot of identity was decided from outside forces. And, of course, my memoir is an evolution of understanding the miseducation and then unlearning and deciding what my identity is at a later time. So.
I love that.
That's
And
the
and
concise start to it, I guess.
I love it. Yeah, and just how you shared how your identity was chosen for you,
Mhm.
and the intersectionalities of how to navigate your world and your perceptions and how people perceive you. And this is wonderful how, that mixtape, that mixed trope that so many biracial kids are living in. I am raising two biracial children myself. My husband is Scandinavian. I'm from Liberia.
Mhm.
And so I know I can't wait to get this copy for my sons, because I know they can identify a lot of the things that you even stated, not black enough, raised by a white mother, and all of these things that a lot of our biracial children are still grappling with. And also, I love how you shared your evolution of taking your identity into your own, not having other people identify you. You are taking that power back. So let's talk more about your mixtape memoir. Why did you choose to structure your book as tracks instead of chapters? I like how you have that creativity. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love music, and I always imagine there's like I think musically, so um, I've always imagined that my life is a movie and I'm making the soundtrack to it, right? So at the start of mixtape, you're going to get some QR codes, which is
Mhm.
the actual playlist that goes with the book. So like I said, the title has two meanings: mixtape, as in a playlist made up around a theme, but then also mixed, MIXT, is a the sound of mixed race. So, but I wanted to tell my story, and ultimately, I wanted it to be a literary version of the mixtape. And that is a series of sounds that resonates with the theme. And the theme of my story is that unreciprocated relationships hurt because they're unsustainable. So as I'm telling my story, it's not a movie, but I'm creating the soundtrack to the story of my life that I'm telling. And the songs, the tracks are a framework, but they also they add that element of sound. So I wanted it to be multisensory. And what I'll say is that the title mixtape was decided before a word was written because I was just like, one day I was like, oh, mixtape. Um, and it covers that double meaning. And I love that format to tell a story, to make it unique, but also to be very true to me as a person who loves music and uh, uh, values the medium of storytelling that is music. So I incorporated it into my own version of storytelling.
Love that, Johnzelle, and even how you music is so powerful, and I can imagine when I'm reading this book, listening to the song that you chose to feel
Mhm.
that feeling that you are conveying to us as the reader, and
Yeah.
that I think is very powerful. Oh, multisensory, you had me at that. Oh, I love that. And with your journey as a licensed therapist, how has your personal journey influenced your work as a therapist?
My experience as a human is essential to my work as a therapist. In my bio, I guess on like social media, I say Johnzelle Anderson, therapist, storyteller. And I separate it by a single line in between because the transcendence of storyteller into being a therapist and the therapist into the storyteller. But make no mistake, I don't write like a therapist. Okay, it's not clinical. I'm a human, and just like
Yeah.
I'm a therapist, I'm not a blank slate therapist. I'm not a how does that make you feel? Well, the research says this. I'm humorous. I use jokes. I cuss. Bring in music references and pop culture and give book recommendations. But my experiences as a human, and I use the element of uh, clinical self-disclosure. Like I'll share anecdotes about my own life with clients as they are relevant to give them perspective. I also just use storytelling uh, perspectives of things I've observed throughout life to support a client. I also am a bibliotherapist, so I will recommend and or read books with clients as part of their therapeutic work. So I really do believe that storytelling is essential to healing, and we're all stories. We're all, whether it's through music, whether it's through social media, whether it's through books, whether it's through just our friendships, everything is a series of stories. So, and connections. So, yeah, they're very intertwined. And I found also a way with what I've experienced as a human. It's not so much a like, uh, oh, these bad things happened and he overcame it and this is how. Like, there are books like that. That's not how I wrote my book. I wanted it to be a journey of becoming. I wanted it to show people what happens to a person whose identity is kind of decided for them by bad actors, and but then also uh, uh, recognizing the miseducation, which is a nod to the miseducation of Lauren Hill, by the way,
Yes,
and
yes.
unlearning, and shedding the stuff that doesn't fit anymore, and really getting to the end, which is not the end of the journey, but getting to a place of cultivating peace and joy and freedom, and continuing to support other people on their journey. So.
Love that. I love that. And I love how you take the clinical, theoretical things out of it and more the
Mhm.
human side of it because we are living in this human experience.
Yeah.
And no human experience is, you know, peaceful all the time. There's always going to be
Mhm.
things that will test you and make you, how you say, stand up into your own power and your own joy in your
Definitely.
terms. I love that. So, what does rewriting your story actually look like in real life? So, when somebody reads your book, and they feel inspired to think of their own miseducation of how people perceive themselves. What does that rewriting their story actually look like in real life?
Rewriting your story is not to be confused with revisionist history.
Mhm.
Um, what happened happened.
Yes.
However, I think of it as something goes awry, um, and things are left behind when something
Okay.
goes awry, whether that be abuse, neglect, adversity, you name it. Um, my, dare I say, superpower or talent
Yeah.
is taking what was left behind and finding something useful to heal, to make humor, to create. Um, and and that's not to be confused with the trope of everything happens for a reason. Because
Thank
say
you.
you've been
Mhm.
abused,
Yes.
I'm not going to say, oh, but something was left behind that helped me become this. I'm not thanking those who did, because when people harm you, they don't have that outcome in mind for you. So I don't like the statement, everything happens for a reason, or
Yes, agree.
I don't even stand on the whole thing that people cop out and they say, oh, well, they did the best they could. No, they didn't. Because if they did the best they
Right there.
could, then I wouldn't be harmed. People wouldn't be harmed,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I also don't give uh, reward points for avoidance of
Yeah.
accountability. So, and it's not to be confused with this is a revenge tour either.
No, no.
My good friend and memoirist, Akemia Deadweiler, she wrote a book called Daddy's Little Stranger. She told me early on in my journey of writing my memoir, she said, "Don't go on a revenge tour." So I tell these stories not as a revenge tour, not as a gotcha, not as a, "Ooh, these people are really gonna read this and feel." I had wrote it as if the people who are mentioned will never read this, and because it's not about what they did or getting back. It's about telling the story, and then the reader can make their own conclusions. You tell,
Yeah.
or you show, but you don't tell. Um,
Yes.
and then it's the reader who gets the experience out of it. They get the meaning from it. I don't have to tell the reader what meaning to draw from something. Um,
Exactly.
and and yeah,
I
it's been
love
quite a
that.
journey so far.
Yeah, that's amazing, and it like you said, it's not about them. This is about you and your experience and how you have come to it on the other side, and
Hmm.
that is what's important. I love that, and I also love that advice that it's not a revenge tour. It's not a
Hmm.
gotcha or wait till you read chapter or track 6, like,
Hmm.
"Here's your diss track." It's like, "No, it's not what it's about." But
Yeah.
you'll understand. I love, like, the Easter eggs that you have
Yeah.
embedded in it. So you can make the conclusions yourself as a reader, but also it doesn't take away from what your purpose is of your own becoming.
Mhm.
Is that what I'm putting up, what you're putting down? Is that
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, okay, good. I wanna make sure. Oh, I love that about how you take what you have experienced and putting it out in the world for people to understand and to relate. I know a lot of people will be able to relate to your story. Let's talk more about um, identity and belonging. So, what advice would you give to people struggling with belonging?
Something that I continue to lean into the older I get is that uh, humans, we're wired for connection. Um, and connection means love, like, and understanding. And it travels in three directions. Um, we have the ability to give love, like, and understanding. We have the desire to receive love, like, and understanding. And then internally, we ought to love, like, and understand ourselves. If one of those directions gets messed up, we're going to have problems. Um, and you can kind of go with that. So what I would say to someone struggling with their identity is, first of all, know that you're worthy of connection. You're worthy of love, like, and understanding. That's not to be confused with your entitled. Entitled
Mm,
means you could just tell someone you need to love, like, and understand me. No, they don't. But you're worthy of it, meaning you are wired for that. So if you're feeling disengaged or you're feeling isolated or you're feeling um, uh, like you're not um, connected, um, encouragement is that you're worthy of it. Worthy means you don't have to earn it. It's in your nature. Like we're worthy of safety. We're worthy of
mhm.
food and water and access to
Yeah,
healthcare and,
yeah.
safety. Like those, we're worthy of that. We don't have to earn that, right? Or we shouldn't have to earn that.
Mm,
So you're worthy of connection. And like I said earlier, the theme of this book, you're gonna see Johnzelle from a young age to early 30s go through a series of unreciprocated relationships. This is I came to understanding what I was worthy of by writing the story, but also living through these things, right? And what you'll see is a person trying to engage with unreciprocated relationships where he's trying harder than the others are, or he's giving more than they're giving back. And where does that end? And then getting to the point where it's like, no, I'm worthy of, if I give love, like an understanding, to be met with reciprocity. I'm worthy of love, liking, and understanding myself. That the harm that was done to me trained me to dislike myself, to internally hate myself. Right. So unburdening myself from those things. So anyone struggling, know you're worthy of connection. And also, unreciprocated relationships will hurt you because they're always unsustainable.
mhm.
If it's
Wow,
imbalanced, it's
yes.
unsustainable.
Mhm. Oh, I love that, love that. And, okay, I am just I could talk to you all day, Johnzelle, this is so good, you're giving such good advice. Um, you've read you read 100 books a year? That's
A
amazing.
100 plus.
100 plus, yes. What are the 2 books that changed your life?
That is a difficult question. Uh,
I know it's hard to pick. I love to read, but wow, that's a lot. That's awesome. Yeah.
okay. Let me go recency bias. So
Okay,
this is
let's
not
do
because I've
yeah,
read so many.
yeah.
This year I have read Burn Down Master's House by Clay Kane 3 times already.
Really? I was intrigued to it's on my list to read.
It's
Yes.
so good.
Okay.
And the book came out in February, so the fact that I've read it 3 times already is telling you how good I don't think I've ever read a book 3 times in a row or 3 times that close together, because obviously I
Yeah,
was reading
yeah.
other books too. So that one's one, and let's go hmm, Change My Life.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, in Mixtape, a Memoir, I talk about, uh let's go back. So, in Mixtape the Memoir, I talk about how the story of Matilda by Roald Dahl, as a child, made me feel understood because obviously I was going through like abuse and neglect, and I was seeing a child who was abused and neglect, but she's bookish. She had her library card, so
Mhm.
and knowing she wasn't alone when she had books. So I'll say that that's another one. Now, it was such a difficult question you just asked me.
I know,
So
I got you. I
it
got you.
you if you want to know my thoughts on books, follow me on Instagram because
Yeah, I
I
can't
do
wait.
book reviews on there just for fun. So
Oh, I
yeah.
love it, and you had
Mhm.
me at Matilda because that was so true, and she also was worthy of love, like, an
Love, like, an
understanding
understanding.
from her teacher who
Yep.
saw her and validated that she was
Hmm.
worthy of that. So,
Yep.
yes. Oh, I love that. So, what does home mean to you today, my friend?
Ooh, that's a great question. Okay, so
Mhm.
home, um, it is evolving for me because I got separated last year after a 9-year relationship. I did a few months of grief, you know. My child is she's with me 60% of the time. She's with her mother the other 40% of the time. I kept the house. So I have a house, right? Which is, I had established to be my sanctuary, my safe place, whatever. Um, but home is post my separation, I have realized the richness of some friendships that were more surface level have deepened.
Mm,
Some friendships that I thought were deeper have fallen off.
mm,
Um, and I'll say that I feel really locked in and fulfilled by my friendships more than I've ever, I think, been at in my life, which a younger version of Johnzelle wanted. He wanted friendships, he wanted solid relationships. And home is also, the bond that I have with my daughter. She's 6 years old. Our relationship has gotten even better post separation. Like, it's more peaceful because there's not conflict in the home. And on top of that, home is traveling. Home is going to, say, places like West Africa. Home is uh, putting myself out there. I'm an introvert, but I'm promoting a book, which is a very social thing to do. Home is also like I started dating again, and I've been in a relationship for a couple of months now, and experiencing reciprocity and all of the
yeah,
things that, basically, the things that were neglected towards me in my marriage. Are I asked for that. I said, this is my expectation. These are my boundaries based off of, kind of that example I gave of, okay, something happens. What tools can I get from it? And the tools
yes,
that I got from that relationship ending was, okay, this was neglected. This is what caused me harm. And I kind of took that as when I got out here dating, I said, this is what I'm worthy of. I didn't say this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I'm worthy of.
that
And
part,
so
yes,
home is living. Home is my connection with my daughter, the role as a
yes,
father, the role as a therapist in the middle of whatever this country is doing, the role as a storyteller, telling stories about race and adversity. Home is community. Home is, I'm bisexual, so uh, being uh, living in my identity and gravitating towards other people that um, want to be seen and heard and understood. So, home is more vast than my physical dwelling that I live in.
ooh.
So, home is in a book too. Home is in music. To go on. I love
I
that
love
question.
this, Johnzelle. Yes, yes, and it's not just a dwelling. Oh,
Hmm.
that is amazing, amazing. And you talk really briefly about, your trip to West Africa. How
Hmm.
did your trip to Ghana impact your understanding? You shared with it in understanding of home, but of
Hmm.
identity as
Yeah.
well.
So I've
Mhm.
now been 3 times. I've been to Ghana 3 times, and I went to Sierra Leone once, which
Okay.
this last so in the book I talk about my first trip to Ghana.
Mhm.
Um and I chose Ghana not because that's where my father is from, because my father is Sierra Leonean, but
Yeah, yeah.
I chose Ghana because it was my own fresh start on the continent. Um and because I didn't have a direct path through my father other than knowing where he was from. Um I wanted to do it on my own terms. But when I got to Ghana, I realized as it was happening what I was there for and what it was going to show me. I was
Mhm.
able to tap in with my West African ancestors. I stood in the slave castles. I felt that spirit of my Black ancestors. And Sankofa was a word that I learned from the Adinkra symbols, which means to go
Mhm.
back and get it. And I was experiencing Sankofa while I learned about Sankofa, right? Um, and and so felt at home the second I got off the plane, and that hot, sub-Saharan dry heat smacked me in the face, right? And I was
Yes.
like, this is it. The food, the culture, the smells, the joy, the colors. Um, and then the last time I went, post separation, this was in December, I decided to take my daughter with me, and it was her first time to the continent. So we went to Sierra Leone for 4 days, and then we went back to Ghana. So um, my daughter turned 6 years old in Sierra Leone, the place where my father immigrated from. So even though he wasn't that involved and he didn't give me a connection to my roots, I was able to establish them on my own terms through my travels to Ghana, but also in bringing my own daughter to the place. She stood with me in the slave castles off the coast of Freetown, like, and she had a birthday in uh the place where it all started. So she gets to have a more direct line to her roots. She doesn't have to wonder. And so Ghana, uh, Sierra Leone, West Africa, those 3 trips that I took continue to teach me things. I'm working on a second memoir. Um, it's going to be in verse, so I want to write it in. So I want to do some poetry with it. It's going to be called African, by the way. So,
Ooh, I love that. You have to come
yeah,
back when when it publishes. I would
yes.
love to have you back on. Yes.
Yes, but, that, my travels to Africa, I barely scratched the surface at the end of
Oh,
Mixtape.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
there's more to say about it, but it means a lot to connect, because being raised in whiteness, especially with my first racist being my white caregivers, my Black African identity was, suppressed and demonized. So part of unlearning and healing was leaning into I was conditioned to fear.
Yes.
And that it transcends because I am now tasked with teaching my daughter, um, though she's fair skinned, she's still a Black girl because she has me in
Yes.
her, right? So
Yes.
teaching her identity as a young Black girl,
Mhm.
and her identity as an African American, right?
Mhm.
And by me doing the understanding and the healing work, she can also do the same thing in an easier way. Um, so yeah, those trips meant a lot to me.
And it's so powerful how you close the loop of that
Hmm.
circle of how your dad came and your daughter is right there. So there, like you said, there's no question of really standing on the ground of where her ancestors came from and to
Yes.
be there. Oh, and I tell you, once you leave Africa, it comes with you. You
Oh, yeah.
never that bond is never broken. It's always with you no matter what. So that's
Mhm.
just oh, Johnzelle, this has been such a powerful conversation. I
I've
mean,
enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it so much getting to know you. I'm definitely getting your book. And
Thank
where
you.
can our listeners connect with you more and grab your book? Because I need some more of these recs. If you're reading 100 plus books a year, I need some recs. So,
Yes.
where can we
Okay.
grab your book first and foremost?
Okay.
Yes,
So here is the cover, y'all. This is
love it.
Mixtape, a memoir by Johnzelle Anderson. You can find it at johnzelle.co. My name is spelled John, Z like zebra, ELLE.co. On that website, you will see all of the links. It's available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, bookshop.org. There's also a link there if you want a signed copy. It is also available in an audiobook, which is narrated by yours truly. And the links to the places where you can get the audiobooks are available all at johnzelle.co. But again, you could also just search up the title of the book, and wherever you buy books online, it's widely distributed. For to follow me on Instagram, my handle is Johnzelle, same spelling, Johnz like zebra, ELLE_. So I go on there. I share cute pictures of my daughter and the books that I'm reading her. I primarily read books by and about Black people, so that transcends to the children's books that I choose for my daughter, the books that I read, and I like to give reviews on Instagram for fun. And I also have been able to connect with a lot of Black storytellers that way as well. So if you want to see what I'm reading and what I'm recommending, definitely follow me there. But also, you can keep up with what I'm doing creatively as well, and what's going on in my life. So, Johnzelle_ on Instagram and johnzelle.co to get the book. And thank you in advance for supporting Blackness.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait, and I would love to
Mhm.
have you, review and read my book, so that's coming your way, my dear. So,
Yeah,
yes.
send me the link and I'll check it out.
I got you, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. Thank you, Johnzelle, for coming on the Culture Curriculum Chat podcast. And listeners, if this conversation resonated with you, make sure that you subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Thank you all for listening, and I will see you here same time next week. Bye bye.